I had my pistol in the truck. I didn't care about how far that I've come in life and with my business. That's whenever I knew that I really had mental health problems.
Welcome to the Niftyology podcast, hosted by myself, Chris Nichols. Niftyology is an open source outlet for people to share their successes, mentorships to others, and how they manage to make it to the top. But with every success story, there's a dark story. With this new outlet, the stories shared will help others elevate and overcome their own demons, helping them to unlock their full potential in not only their personal life, but even business.
Now today, I want to introduce myself from a raw perspective. People see me, they see the company that I own, a small detailing business that turned into an all-inclusive solution for all things automotive here in Atlanta, Georgia. But a lot of times we have situations that we face in particular, not only in personal life, but our business life as well. And I feel like I just want to release it for my well-being and others to hopefully be able to relate in some type of way, so that way if they're feeling blocked or they are just trapped in this hole that they can't get out of, just want you to know that you're not alone for whatever you're going through. For me, I feel like the definition of success is the amount of lives that you impact during your journey to the top. So whether you're giving them feedback on basically how to take on life or certain things throughout business, and it has a positive impact on your listeners, to me, that's truly the definition of success. So in my life, I've had a tremendous amount of people, whether it's clients within my business, mentors, colleagues, or even podcasts that I listen to that have shined a light on to help me go through personal issues and even issues within the business. As a 25-year-old entrepreneur, I've gone through a tremendous amount of physical and mental health issues, losses, just feeling alone, whether it's in my own family, friend groups, or just genuinely taking on life alone. And it's been tough. But before I go into all that, I want to take it back to my childhood, like 2, 3, 4 years old, and how I really developed a strong passion for all things automotive. So when I was younger, like 2, 3, 4 years old, my family would tell me that when we were in the car going somewhere, and an ambulance or a police car would go by with their sirens on, I would say, car we. And at that age, I had a hard time with my T's. So whenever there was a fire truck go by, I would say, fire. And then just growing older, my dad always had a Harley Davidson. He was a motorcycle club all my life. And before he would go on his motorcycle rides, he would have to clean up the motorcycle every single time, whether it was polishing it or just doing a simple wash or wipe down. And I would go outside in the garage and just watch him and just see how he cleaned up the Harley. And it's like every single time that he goes out for a ride, he had to either rewash it or repolish a part. And he always taught me that, when you have nice things, you have to take care of them. And I think that's really the start to how I started to enjoy automotive car care. So fast forward to 15 years old, my dad bought my first car, and it was a 2008 Dodge Charger. And the car hadn't even actually hit the lot. It was still in service. And I saw it once the salesman brought us into the service department, and I just fell in love with it. And I guess the numbers worked out, so we ended up getting it. And because it hadn't hit the lot, it was kind of filthy. Like, it had just gotten from auction. And if you guys know anything about how auction cars come, they're decently cleaned, but it wasn't to my dad's standard of clean. So what we did was we went to Walmart and we got like the best over-the-counter products to clean the vehicle from the inside to the outside. So from then on, we went over to the house and he showed me how to thoroughly clean the inside of the vehicle, vacuum it, getting all like the nitty-gritty of things. And then to the outside, we washed it and put a wax on it. So he's shown me how to apply wax by hand, because for him, that was his standard of applying wax, was applying it by hand. It was actually like the Meguiar's Carnauba paste wax. So again, he showed me a couple different panels, and then he went on to the porch and smoking his cigarettes and just watching me. And this is back home in Florida. And we were doing it in the shade, but it was still in the heat and the humidity. And if you've ever hand waxed a car in the heat and humidity, it's tough. So here I am, you know, knowing what I know now with detailing. I think really I was putting more defects into this vehicle's paint by the way I was waxing the car. So I finished it, I broke a sweat and everything, and I went to go take a seat. My dad's like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "I'm done." He's like, "No, you're not. Go put another coat of wax on it." So I went ahead and did that, and then that was really it for me. I really enjoyed the process of taking the car from dirty and making it look new again. And that was really when the true passion of detailing started. You know, again, it did start whenever I was watching my dad at a younger age wash and polish up the motorcycle before every ride, but doing it to my own vehicle and taking care of it, I genuinely loved it. So from then on, I was actually cleaning friends, family, and neighbors' vehicles, and I was getting money out of it, and I was getting really good at it. So fast forward to about 18 years old, I wanted to make business cards for myself. So that way when I go to new potential clients, they could take me more serious, that I had business cards with a, with a name, and it wasn't just like Chris Nichols Automotive Detailer. So that's how the iconic Nifty Nichols Detailing name came about. Now we actually rebranded to Nifty Auto, simply because we're not just doing detailing, we're doing a lot of other things. So once we created the business cards with the name and whatnot, it was still just a side hustle. You know, I didn't have a proper LLC and everything. So I actually had a legit job at Publix, and I started that at 15 years old. And I was just so bored with just doing one job that whenever I was done with Publix, and there was still light outside, or it wasn't raining or anything, and I could book a last minute job, I would come home and then I would work on my side business of detailing. So once I got to the point where high school was ending for me, I was about 18 years old, and the plan straight out of high school was to actually go into the Army. My dad, he did 22 years in the Air Force, and he always told me that one of the best things to do is go straight into the military, let them pay for your college, do 4 years of college, go into the Air Force, not the Army, and become an officer. Great benefits and whatnot. And I really wasn't that good at math, and I wasn't that smart to become a lawyer or a doctor or anything. So I was like, all right, that's my plan. I'm gonna do detailing on the side to get me through high school, to make some money, and then straight out of high school, I'm gonna go into the military. But in the midst of it all, my mom, she actually had lung cancer. And I didn't know how bad, well, we all didn't know how bad her lung cancer was until I was graduating high school. And again, like the plan nearly 2 months after high school was to go into the military. So here I am, graduating high school, ready to take on life in this new chapter through the military. And that's whenever I found out that my mom's cancer was getting worse. So if you've ever been in the military or you're in the military, you know how long it takes to build that military contract. You got to go to MEPS and whatnot, and it's a lot of paperwork, so it took about 1.5 years for me to build that contract. And when I heard that her cancer was getting worse, I decided to just terminate my contract, end it all, because I wanted to spend more time with my mom. And I'm glad that I did that, because I was able to spend an extra 1.5 years with her before she did lose her life to lung cancer. From then on, it brought me to think, like, what's next for me? I was feeling the emptiness in my heart and the loneliness from losing my mom. I picked up partying and drinking at such a young age, and I was around the wrong people, wrong influences in my life, and really what I needed to do was focus on better company over the bad and just accept the loneliness. I always, and still today, I cherish the moments that I had with Mom. I would even still go back to my voicemails and just listen to my mom's voice. And that helped me get through the loss. So here I am, a year and a half after graduating high school. The contract to the military is terminated. You can't just go back and say, hey, let's start this thing back up. I could have, but I didn't want to take the several months to a year to build that contract. So I did what my mom would have loved for me to do, and that was just to focus on my passion of detailing. And I really put my all into it. So here I am, 19, 20 years old. I've had multiple other jobs. I left Publix after a year and a half of working there because I got tired of just bagging. I wanted to learn new stuff. So I've worked in all types of customer service business, sales industry, and whatnot. But I always was focusing on my passion at the end of the day or on the weekends of detailing. And fast forward to 21 years old, I used to work for an off-road fabrication shop where I met a gentleman that gave me an opportunity to leave the beautiful panhandle of Florida to Atlanta to make my side hustle my main thing, my main gig. I thought he was crazy. I was 21 at the time, living close to the beach. All my friends and family were there. It was like, why should I leave? But this gentleman, he introduced me to quite a few people. I actually went and visited 5 times in a 3-month span. And one of the gentlemen that I met, he said, look, Chris, if you can come up here and you could be a good detailer, then you'll make it. So when I moved to Georgia in with my buddy's family, I didn't have a plan. I didn't have a plan on how I'd pay them back for the opportunity that they gave me. But they know who they are, and I'm extremely grateful for everything they did, as that opportunity led to another, which then got me on my own feet. And once I was on my own feet, I was then able to understand on my own how they did business and how they were able to face things in business and personal life. And it really impacted my life and inspired me to go the proper route. They taught me that life was life, and you're going to go through things, and you're going to go through a lot of ugly before it gets pretty, so really just have to dig your heels in deep and just go head on through life. Yes, I love detailing and all the vehicles that we're gifted the opportunity to work with, but truthfully, the clients that we work with, they inspire me beyond the unthinkable. Some of my clients, they genuinely don't even understand how they have influenced my life to do better on a daily basis, just by being around their families, their homes, seeing how they take on certain situations in business and in life. And honestly, every day I wake up excited to see my clients because of all that, and be around their families and their dogs. I got a lot of clients with some cute dogs. But if anything has ever put a bad taste in my clients' mouths with who they're doing business with, I just want it to be a pleasure for them to do business with my company. And that's not even if it's just me going out there. Anybody on the Nifty crew, I genuinely want them to have a great experience, from customer service to the service at which we're performing, to make a positive impact on not only their day, but their life. So even though I've been able to have my client support from the beginning of this journey, and they recommend the proper paths to go down. It hasn't been easy. I'm the type of person that even if you tell me one thing, I'm gonna have that in the back of my mind, but depending on the certain situations, I'm gonna have to do things on my own to really understand. And whether that has a good or bad impact on my life during my journey, it's really just creating me to be the man that I am today. And a lot of the issues that I've been through, not only my personal life, but mainly business, is because I've always had like a big ego and my pride is always high. And it's just one of those things, man. Again, like I said, you have to go through certain situations to learn from your mistakes and turn those L's into lessons learned and move forward. So being a business owner takes a toll on you, honestly, not only physically, but your mental health as well. I've had a lot of issues with clients and with my team, and honestly, I often get emotional about it because I genuinely care so much. And yes, that can be a bad thing, but at the same time, it's good because it just shows you how much passion and love I have for this business and this company, honestly. I've had clients scream and yell to my face and on the phone, and that's kind of where my weaknesses would come out, because it's like I always go above and beyond for my clients, and they could be yelling at me for like the smallest stupid things that could be fixed like that, or just big things that have happened in my personal life that I used to let affect my business life, and it showed, and I had clients, some even pull me to the side and say, "Hey man, are you all right? Like, do you need to go talk to like a therapist or anything?" And honestly, like the things that I were going through, I just thought it was kind of normal, being a young entrepreneur. Like, you got to go through the suck before it gets great. And I've had issues where, we damage clients' cars, just like anybody. We say one thing and don't do it. And a lot of that just is with me, because being a business owner, it's a lot. It's overwhelming. You get all these clients that expect you to do everything in one day, and just majority of the time, 24 hours in a day is not enough time to get things done. I often have forgotten about things that I've said that I'm going to do. And that really just, it gets to me. Depression, anxiety, really, for such a long time over the last 3 years of not only the business, but way back from whenever I lost my mom, and one of my really good friends at a young age. Like, a lot of mental health issues have been building up from such a young age, and it really didn't get to me until I was 2 years into this running the business. Because what happens is, for me, when things happen in the past, what I've done that I've been getting better at it, but instead of going through it head on and facing the situation and figuring out a solution right then, what I would do is I would just put my headphones on and go to work. I would go and detail a car just to get my mind off things. And unfortunately, I've done that at such a younger age that it has affected my business, the way I do business. And even from the beginning of whenever I moved up here, I didn't have a plan, because that gentleman that inspired me to move up here, "Hey Chris, if you come up here and be a good detailer, you'll make it." That's all that I had in my mind, was if I come up here and be a good detailer, I'll make it. I wasn't expecting to get the nearly instant gratification from coming up here and doing what I was doing, because I was genuinely good at it. I was genuinely good at using social media to market the business. I wasn't expecting really the city of Atlanta, but the detailers of Atlanta to accept me. Essentially, I was a tourist. I was from Florida. I moved up here, and I was like stepping on enemy territory. But I've had a lot of support from people in Atlanta, but also the detailers, and I greatly appreciate that as well. With all this, they don't make a manual to how to live life and how to run a business. You literally just have to put yourself out there and learn from your mistakes and grow within. And I hope everything that I'm saying right now you can relate to right now, or maybe in the near future, and you're not just taking it as a grain of salt and in one ear out the other. So earlier this year, things got extremely dark for me, just with everything going on with my mental health and some things within the business. It got tough. And I remember this particular day, May 23rd, just a lot of stuff going on where we were just swamped, didn't have the manpower, didn't have enough time throughout the day to get things done, not only labor-wise, like in the field and doing back-end work and whatnot. And I just had all this pressure on me, and everything was just building up. And it was all building up because I was always just putting those headphones on and getting to work. And on May 23rd, really, like, everything just caught up to me. The night before, I had actually gone out and I was partying with some friends, and I knew that I had work the next day, but I got to the point in my life where I had to consume alcohol to really like enjoy life. And I'm not saying I was an alcoholic, because like throughout the week I could live life and go to work and come home and not drink anything. But it was like once it was Friday night or Saturday night, my priorities weren't right. I was kind of drinking my problems away in a sense, and it had caught up to me. So again, that night before, I went out and I stayed out too late and had to work the next day. And once I finally got up, I got up late, and that was a big problem right there on May 23rd. Was I had already told these people that I was going to get started at a certain time, and I wasn't there because my priorities weren't there. And so I started the day late, and I'm working with an extreme hangover. My phone's again being blown up from just issues going on with the business. A recent business partnership that I had ended because I genuinely wasn't happy within my own business, and everything that came to that, it was just all just piling up on me. But I ended up going through the day very slowly. I did the job that I needed to do, and I was by myself, but I could have had help from one of my guys that at the time he lived with me. But this day I told him just take the day off. I would go do what needed to get done. I see him at the end of the day. So everything's said and done with work. It was a crappy day. And I'm pulling in the driveway, and I shut off the truck, and I just sat there. And I was just kind of taking a breather. I really didn't have much on my mind, except for just dark emotions and just pain, really. I didn't have any music playing or anything. And I just let everything building up to me get to me. And here I am in my driveway, and I had my pistol in the truck, and I just kind of got out of the center console, and I had put it on my leg. And just everything going on that had built up, I was ready just to kind of end it all and be selfish. And at this point, I didn't care about how far that I've come in life and with my business. Having the clientele that I had and touching the vehicles that we were given the opportunity to do, like, I was just tired of it all. So I got to the point where I actually grabbed the pistol, and my roommate inside, he turned on the living room light and I could see it from the driveway. And from then I just put the gun down because I got scared. That's whenever I knew that I really had mental health problems. And I never have told anybody this episode that happened on May 23rd. Never even told the gentleman that was living with me at that time. But if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be here today, honestly. So, you know, he knows who he is, and whenever he's listening to this, if it wasn't for you, man, I genuinely thank you and love you. So from then on, I really had to pull myself up out of it, out of the mental funk that I was in. And for a while before May 23rd, people had told me that I needed to go talk to a therapist. And I was in a relationship at that time, and I was open to her to an extent, but that was just it, to an extent. And once I really accepted the fact that I had the mental health problems and I needed to go talk to the therapist, it was when I started talking to the therapist that things had got a lot easier. And for about 2 months, I didn't call the therapist a therapist. I called it a counselor. You know, as a young man growing up in this world, the world kind of taught me that it wasn't manly enough to talk about your problems. You know, it was too girly. But we all have issues that once we get it out, once we say it to somebody that has gone through situations, or they are a profession in therapy work, and they can help you get through these dark times and thoughts, it helps tremendously. I was also doing daily I am affirmations. I started speaking things into existence and manifesting things. From then on, I really started to put myself first. So I had always put other people before me. And, you know, focusing on self-care and self-love stuff, like it sounds girly when you're a man, and it's gonna be uncomfortable for the first couple weeks or months, but man, if you can just focus on putting yourself first and not piling so much work onto your daily life, and just focus on living in the moment and not tomorrow, and you just constantly lay that one brick a day, then your empire will soon get built. And doing Niftyology is really helping me continue my growth mentally in how I live life in business. And I genuinely hope everything that I'm expressing from my heart is touching each and every one of you, whether you're going through something similar or have had the thoughts, or maybe you haven't yet, but just hearing my story can help guide you for whenever it does get dark, to just lead you on a better path. With the stage that I've built, I'm blessed for the opportunity to share my craft, and not only that, but just the way I live life to make a difference. For the coming episodes on Niftyology, I want to bring on clients and friends that I've made throughout Nifty Auto that have influenced me, helped me, and that I overall admire. But beyond a simple conversation with these people, I want to be an open source, touching on entrepreneurship, mental awareness, mental strengths, and so much more. You know, I keep bringing up open source, and that's really because Elon Musk had inspired me with his open source technology. So when you say Elon Musk, you think of Tesla, right? So he created an open source platform where anybody can grab the blueprints on how to make the batteries and how to make an electric car. You know, that's why you see so many new companies like Rivian, Lucid, and you see current companies like Ford, GM, Rolls-Royce, Ferrari. They're all making their own designs, and it's simply because Elon Musk created that open source platform. So if you're out there looking for an outlet to share your story to help others, or personally just want to release it on your own, this can be your stage to do so. By providing this open source, sharing stories, and shining a light for those who struggle, Niftyology is your outlet. Be sure to like, share, comment, and subscribe, and hit that notification bell. That way you can be notified for the next episode on Niftyology.